I'm Pastor Marc, and I'm excited to introduce you to one of our Lenten mission partners, StrongMinds, which is an organization focused on one goal: treating depression in women and adolescents in Africa. And with us today is Rasa Dawson, the Chief Development Officer of StrongMinds. So Rasa, the mission of StrongMinds is really targeted. Can you tell us how the organization started?
StrongMinds started in 2013. Our founder, Sean Mayberry, has been working abroad for over 20 years, and he was not new to seeing the level of poverty that people were experiencing in the communities that he was working in. He was back here in the States. Sean has 4 boys and lives actually nearby in New Jersey. He was reading an article in the New York Times and saw coverage of a randomized controlled trial that happened in Uganda, where they treated women with depression using group talk therapy. And it was incredibly, incredibly successful. So Sean reached out to the researcher and said, "What have you done with this incredible research?" And she said, "Nothing." And he said, "Well, what has anybody else done with it?" And she said, "Nothing." He said, "You mean it's been sitting on a shelf for 10 years? And she said, yeah. So Sean quit his job. He used his family's life savings. He moved into the attic of his house to start StrongMinds, and has slowly built up the organization. So we started in Uganda in 2019. We expanded into Zambia.
Tell us how this works in practice.
Our groups, when they're held in person, are around 12 to 14 women. They get together once a week for an hour and a half for 8 weeks. At the end of the 8 weeks, we see that over 80% of the women that we treat are no longer depressed.
What happens next?
They're done. So our sort of formal involvement at that point is over. However, what we see is that over 80% of our groups continue to meet every week afterwards. So the impact of our depression treatment is beyond just this one woman. It actually impacts her family and her community. When a woman is no longer depressed, her family eats more meals a day, her household economic productivity increases, and her kids go to school more often. So we're not just changing the lives of the 120,000 women we've treated to date, but we're changing the lives of the 4 family members of each of those 120,000 women. So our impact is great.
Can you give us a little bit of the data? You already threw something out there.
I have spouted some statistics
but
at you
let's
already.
hear. What are the ones that you're most proud of and you would want us to know about?
Well, first, I would like you to know what the vast need is in Africa. When we're in communities and we're assessing for depression, we assess up to 25% of the women are depressed. So that means 1 in 4 women that we assess are living with depression. So that's the need.
The need is huge.
The need is huge. And then our impact is huge. Over 80% of the women we treat, after just 8 weeks, are depression-free. Which means they are living with minimal depression symptoms. Their lives have improved, the lives of their families have improved, the impact is incredible. It is incredibly cost effective. If you think about how much it costs for one therapy session here in the United States, it's $150, $250. There we can treat a woman from start to finish for $135. And help her 4 family members as well.
Is there anything else that you can think of that you would want us to know, or maybe even something from your own, personal connection to this ministry?
Mental health is the foundation of any type of international development assistance. So, as an example, if you think about it, as I said, about a quarter of the women we assess are depressed in communities we work in, which means that another organization, if they're going in to deliver mosquito nets, a quarter of the women that they would like to give mosquito nets to are in their homes and not accepting those mosquito nets. So for StrongMinds, we really believe that our model makes all the other models better, because if we go in first and we treat the community for depression, more members are able to take advantage of the other assistance that's being offered to them in a number of other ways.
I hope you'll join me in giving $50,000 to our Lenten campaign for StrongMinds, Johnsonburg, and Raft by Easter Sunday. Whatever you're able to give, thank you.